People whose first relationship was very long term. What weird thing did you believe was normal until you started seeing other people? I see so much horrible things on here. Mine is quite tame, but here goes. My first boyfriend would always leave me small presents or notes underneath my pillow if I had to get up earlier than he did. He was quite romantic and told me I love you quite a lot. When I got a new boyfriend, I caught myself looking underneath my pillow for at least a month/2 months in, just out of habit. That you should be happy together now and not constantly waiting for some vaguely defined future where everything's settled down. Daily binge drinking until I realized I'm an alcoholic, and hetero relationships don't work when one partner tries to drink the gay away. Only took me 9 years, but I got there eventually. I thought most guys liked having their nipples played with because my first ex did. My second boyfriend was so confused when I started licking his titty mayo. Lol. When my ex was getting close to climax, he would like when I dug my nail into his nipple, like kind of hard. So when I got to my next BF, to say we were both shocked when I did that is an understatement. Lol. I texted my then new girlfriend about where I was and who I was with about every 30 minutes. After the third time, she told me that she didn't need to get updates on what I was doing and to just let her know when I got home safe. I remember feeling almost a physical weight being lifted off my chest because I didn't have to worry about my girlfriend freaking out if I didn't update her. I learned what trust felt like that night. This is morbid, but I thought it was normal to argue every day. I thought all couples have their bickering, and it was just a regular thing. I was astounded when I went into my next relationship and actually got on with the guy and went weeks and weeks without having any issues. It always felt like the bubble was going to burst. Goes to show, don't stay in a relationship just because you've already invested a ton of time. You get one life. Spend it with someone who makes you laugh every day. My parents' relationship was like this. When I met my current partner, I told him I would never get married because I don't see the point in being stuck in an argument for the rest of my life. His response was, okay, well, if we communicate, I don't see why we would be always arguing. I didn't get it and didn't want to get into it. One day we were communicating and the conversation was intense, not even arguing/raised voices. And he said, let's take a break from this. I'm feeling frustrated. And I just sat there dumbfounded, like, what? You aren't gonna yell at me? Glad you found each other. Porn is not a documentary. Being used as a sex doll, contorted into uncomfortable positions, and pounded until you bleed, can't stand up, or just break down crying from the pain isn't normal. Nor is anal sex a necessity. We were both virgins, and he had major porn brain. I thought I was bad at sex and would never be able to have a positive experience with intimacy until I finally left him and was with my second boyfriend. I'm okay now. But wow, was that a horrible person to lose my virginity to. The first and second time I had sex, I was in so much pain, crying during sex, bled for days afterward. The third time, I tried with a different guy. When he came over, I had paper towels ready next to the bed because I thought for sure I was going to bleed. I ended up dating that guy for about 4 months and never felt any pain or bled at all during sex. One time I told him to stop and he immediately pulled away, and I was expecting him to not stop like the first guy did. I was really surprised. It completely opened my eyes to how sex is supposed to be and how much that first guy messed me up. First guy who didn't stop when told to stop equals rapist. Not every guy wants to throw on Motown and slow dance with you. Some of them don't even care to touch you. I miss the slow dances. My ex put her happiness on me, making it my responsibility. Would demand I stay around and cut my work hours back and then be upset when we wouldn't have money to go out. Every time I would try and leave, I was coerced with sex to stay. Because I was young and stupid. After 8 years I had enough. I moved 5 states away. Had a chain of bad relationships that ended. Took some time to work on myself and am now engaged to an amazing woman I can communicate with, share feelings about issues, and who values a healthy relationship. that some girls in a relationship don't like to kiss as often as others. I'm just talking about pecs, when I/GF gets home etc. I always enjoyed a hello kiss, but I guess some girls don't. People's love languages are all different. It's especially jarring when you have a lot of experience doing things a certain way, and then finding out that isn't what somebody else needs. It can take some work to figure out what's inherent to yourself and what was learned from your partner. This is super valid, and I feel like it applies to other types of relationships too. Learning about different ways people express affection for each other and why they might do it that way was a big help for understanding my mom. For me, I express and understand affection by spending time with someone, but my mom never really wanted to spend much time with me and didn't appreciate me trying to spend a lot of time with her. It made me feel really unimportant and a bit unloved at times. But then I came across this site talking about different kinds of showing care and found one that fit her perfectly on it. Showing affection by doing things for someone, not with them, but for them, to make their lives easier. My mom had been trying all that time to show she cared by doing little things for me all the time. Things I often hardly even thought to notice. And that was probably why she would get so upset when she asked me to do some small thing for her and then I forgot. Me forgetting to do that small and seemingly unimportant thing probably made her feel unimportant and unloved. Figuring that out has really helped me understand her. My ex basically taught me that it wasn't okay for me to be upset about things. Every time I would get my feelings hurt, even when I was upset about something completely unrelated to him, it was somehow flipped around. So I ended up reassuring and comforting him. That really messed me up. And I basically had to relearn how to be vulnerable with my so. He also had a very solid plan of how he expected me to live my life. Basically his main goal for me was to have kids and be a good housewife. Yikes. On the bright side, nowadays I'm happily engaged and my fiance treats me with so much love and respect. He's supportive of my dreams and we are able to lean on each other in times of hardship. This was my last relationship. I apologized whenever he got mad, but also ended up apologizing whenever I was upset because he'd get upset that I was upset. It was brutal. Being yelled at for crying over legitimate reasons was the worst. It's so confusing and impossible to navigate. I once got yelled at for talking with the wrong tone and then subsequently yelled at for giving him the silent treatment. So confusing and shitty. That every time was essentially a quickie. Almost a whole decade of nothing but 5 thrusts and then blast off. After that relationship ended I felt like Jasmine on a magic carpet ride. A whole new world. Peter, we just had sex. Tell M. Bonnie, yes. We had what Joe considers sex. Kif inform the men. I just had sex. Apostrophe. It wasn't super long term. Only about a year, but when you're in high school that's fairly long term. My ex was a very clingy dude. Sweet but would follow me around every social gathering and get jealous of me spending time with my friends. When I started dating the guy who is now my husband I remember looking around at a party early on of mostly my friends that he hadn't met before and I couldn't find him. I asked someone where he was and he was out by the fire with a group of people chatting and hanging out. I was astonished that we could just go our separate ways in a social setting and that was totally fine. We didn't have to be attached at the hip the whole time. Edit. When I say he would follow me around I literally mean he never left my side. And these were parties and things where he knew everyone as well. At one point my friend was upset, so I went into a bedroom with her and another friend to talk to her, and within 5 minutes he came into the room, and even though this was obviously private he just stood in there. And I did tell him multiple times that we didn't constantly have to be beside each other. If you and your partner like to hang out at parties that's fine, but it was suffocating to me. He was jealous of my friends and complained when I would make plans with them. Honestly we were young and he's probably a totally fine dude now. We were just not right together. As a clingy guy trying to not be, what would you say is the appropriate amount of time to be with your partner v friends at a party? Don't think of it as appropriate amount of time. If you are hanging out and chatting along with your girl, that's cool. But if you are just standing there while she is talking, that is being clingy. I tried to change her. That was my emotional insecurity. My bad, Melissa. You're not my ex. But my name is Melissa. I still have to regularly deal with my ex who maintains that our loan was the cause for the demise of our relationship. Seeing this was weirdly cathartic. I'm a Melissa too. And I understand this. And have lived this. I dated a Melissa for a year as well. And it ended with her feelings knudging. It wasn't anything I did or her. And she's moved on. And so have I. And we've even ran into each a few times. She's was a good GF and friend. She was first and most recent. I enjoy playing video games. A lot of girls like to F. Your partner should actually make an effort to spend time with you. You shouldn't have to surprise them to spend any time with them. This makes me sad. Yeah, it sucked. I enjoyed the time I did manage to spend with her so much though that I couldn't end things. I don't blame her though. She was struggling with depression and it was difficult for her to find the energy to do anything. That makes me even sadder. Well, get this guy as your boyfriend. Cause at least he got experience. Just a SFW remark. Her father hating me. I just thought this was normal. But in the subsequent 3 relationships, last one turning into a marriage and family, the parents were kind, and I couldn't believe that is possible. Sorry, I don't have any NSFW things. All the girls were very open to experiments. Same thing for me, man. Granted, it was a high school relationship and I figured he just hates me cause I'm a high school boy and he knows what high school boys want. But no. The level of malice he poured out on me was far beyond typical father protecting his daughter levels. She eventually dumped me after he threatened to kick her out of her family. In a happy relationship now with an awesome girl whose whole family is a ton of fun. So it worked out for the best. I never quite understood the whole overprotective dad trope. Surely these men were all young boys once and understand the lengths they would have gone through just to get some tail. Why try to take the role of a gatekeeper forever protecting your daughter's virginity with shotgun in hand when you can just educate them about safe sex practices before they start dating? It's one thing to dislike the type of guys your daughter chooses to be with because they're punks. But it's another thing to dislike all guys ever because nobody will ever be good enough for my precious little girl. This is a little strange, I guess. Sort of an individual thing. But with my first 2 relationships, 5 years total between the 2, I never realized how cuddly I am. I used to hate being touched or kissed. And I never realized that wasn't just the way I was. I even thought I might be asexual. But deep down I knew that wasn't the case. My fiancé used to be the same way. But when we met, somehow things just clicked into place. I'm the same way. I used to hate all signs of physical affection. But now with a romantic partner I can't get enough of it. I've done a lot of reflecting on this aspect of myself, and the best conclusion I can come to is the fact that my parents never showed me physical affection. I didn't think much about it until one of my exes described how much he used to love family cuddle piles while watching movies together. I sort of thought it was normal to have parents/siblings that never hugged/kissed/cuddled/pet you, but now I'm not so sure. It's always confused me to hear people say their families don't hug each other, that a hug is more human contact than they've had in weeks. Even since elementary school I've been the type to lean on friends, give them hugs, pet their hair. I'm glad my boyfriend's as much of a cuddler as I am, else we'd have major problems. I would lick the side of my first girlfriend's face like a dog and she loved it. My second girlfriend slapped me when I tried it. Edit, my first gold. Thanks. I was not expecting so many people would relate to that. Suicide threats, black eyes, self-harm manipulation, social media and phone stalking rights, remove female friends from social media plus life, sex as a currency, must respond to texts within 20 minutes or the result is one or more of the above. Finally got out of that one after 3 long years. Learned a whole lot. Helped to build my now very strong relationship though, so hey, take the positive and leave the rest, am I right? Wow, we must have had the same ex. Glad you got out of that situation. It's a stressful trap to say the least.